starting from the head coach of the Titans, Mr. Ish.
Well, first of all, we were very excited to come over here and play the Finland National team. I have a lot of respect for Thomas. He does a great job. Just by our telephone conversation that we had before I came over, I could tell that Thomas knows football. And he's done a great job with the national team. He told me just right after the game that he only had 3 practices? 4? 4. And I don't know if anybody could do that to prepare a team in 4 practices, but I thought they were very well organized. And I thought in the first quarter, the Finland national team came out with a very strong performance against us, and it was a great first quarter there. And I want to compliment the Finland team how they played. I think we warmed down a little bit in the second half, and we've had 25 practices together, so we should know what we're doing, when we're out there. And we had some miscues. We hurt ourselves a little bit, but overall, I thought it was a great game.
Okay, and then we have the game MVP. Is that TJ Stinder? Little recap in your own words.
Yeah, I mean, it is, like Coach said, it's a huge honor to be playing over here. 4 practices, it's hard to get things together, everybody flowing smoothly. And, a lot of these guys, started playing, at 16 to 18 years old. I've been playing American football since I was 7. So, we've been kind of going at it. So, but it was a huge opportunity, a great experience, and I think both teams can benefit a lot from what happened today.
Okay, and then we have the head coach of the Finnish national team, so Thomas Heikkinen, in your own words.
We are very lucky to have this opportunity to play this game. It helps our national team program very much, and it's a great help for us to prepare for the upcoming games in the fall, and especially the European Championship next year. So this helps us tremendously, and I really want to thank you for taking the time and the effort coming here. And they play very, very good football and are professionally coached, and it's a learning experience for us to watch it for us play. It's so at the level that we would like to be. As far as the game goes, I think we started off on defense pretty well, but obviously they started finding the holes and attacking us in schemes that they thought would work, and eventually they did. So and also they are very well conditioned, and today's the end of the game. The difference between the 2 teams came here and here. Our roster is a little thin. We only have 4 linebackers in the roster, which in a game where the other team runs the ball a lot, also it is a challenge. But overall, I think our boys did fit well. Offense takes time. Time is a luxury. We did not have this time, so I think our offensive line did a pretty good job. But as far as getting our running game and especially passing game clicking together, we require a lot more time together to prepare for next year. And they also defended very well. So overall, it was a great experience for us. We hung in there for a while, but then it became evident that they were the stronger team, and they played very well, and we did what we could, and we're all happy, and nobody's injured. And especially this young man here played a hell of a game. Some of the other kids too. That's it.
Okay, and then we have player number 43, Aurainen. So how was the game for you as a player?
First of all, I want to thank Wesleyan for the t-shirt, and great game, great experience. You don't see these organized teams in Europe very much. So as a player, it was a great opportunity to give all what you got. So that's why I think I'm here, because you gave my all. And as a team, you have some good units, but you play a whole team play as a unit. Therefore, you won.
Okay, and now after the recaps, the floor is for the media. Any questions for? Yeah.
Okay, DJ, what was the biggest difference between Team Finland and teams you play against back in the US?
I think it was kind of, the practices really. I mean, like their coach was saying, it takes a lot of time for an offense to click. And then the other thing is, we're bigger here. I mean, we play kids more. You saw we were smaller out there, so we're a little faster, I think. But that's probably the biggest difference is that, like you said, we were very organized. We've been through 25 practices, and that's probably the biggest difference.
Coach Heikkinen, how do you see which were the best parts player-wise in this game from Team Finland?
Well, I think our offensive line, even if you, regardless of the stats, I think our offensive line held their own pretty well for the most part. We just couldn't utilize it too well. I was a bit worried about our secondary against their passing game, but for the most time they held all right. Overall, I would say that there's a few individuals that I told the players that there's going to be 11 great challenges out there every time for you. There's going to be a good player against each and every one of you. And some of our players managed to hold their own throughout the whole game in those man-against-man fights. Some did not, but those who did, I'm happy for them. And those are the ones who had a lot of success in this game.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
So, DJ, did you make did your offensive make any big changes to the game plan? In your game plan, was there any changes during the game or
I
just
think
from your game plan?
the
whole
biggest,
game?
You're talking about blocking or just their game plan
Game plan.
after the first quarter? or-
Adjustments.
Very good.
Adjustments.
I'd be nervous to hear what he has to say
I
about
mean,
that.
although, as you guys saw, the first play I was in, I made a mistake, we fumbled the ball, turnover, and I went over to our bench after that, and I said, all right, guys, you know, that's on me. That's not gonna happen again, and we're gonna get it together right now. You know, we flew here yesterday. We got all the bugs out. I said, let's just do what we do. And the coach, we kind of went back to the basics. And I think that's really what helped us out. It got us rolling. And I mean, football's a game of momentum. Once it starts going your way, it seems like your teammates just build off what's going on. So I think that's what.
I think the adjustment that we made was they started rolling their strong safety down there to tight end side, and we saw that, and so we started running some plays back to the split side, and we had an inside zone cutback, and that's where TJ had a big play one time, and we heard him on a screen on the backside, and ran some speed option one time. So we couldn't run. We were outnumbered to the strength side, so we had to go away from that, and we started to get some momentum and some flow then. But we're a very experienced offense. Some of those kids have been playing together. You know, at a university, you have 4 years, and a lot of our offensive kids, such as TJ, they've been starting for 3 years since their sophomore year, and they're going their senior year. So we have very high expectations for our offense, and we just weren't satisfied in the first quarter. And Finland had a lot to do with that. I mean, I'm not taking anything away from Finland. And number 43, I saw him in the tape that we got. We knew that he was a great player, and he played all over the field today, and we had to get somebody on him to block him. But I think we started to do those basic things that really helped us.
I guess this question could go for, well, it probably should go for both teams. A lot's been made out of the amount of practice time. What do you think the result would be if both teams got equal amount of practice time? If both teams would have gotten 25 practices, would it have been a lot closer?
I'm glad we played him with just 4 practices. I think, yeah, like I said before, you know, Thomas only had 4 days. I think the national team is very talented. I really do. I think there's some talent out there. And I've been coaching college football and going on my 28th season. And the team that I saw out there would be very compatible with any Division III program in the United States as far as athleticism and size. And I looked out there and I said to myself, you know, I'd like to have that Finland team for about 25, 26 practices, you know, because they could do well in our league. But I think that's the key. And I think that was the big difference today. So yeah, it would be a very close game, you know. Still like to say I think we win, but it'd be closer. But I'm sure that Thomas would say that they would win too. So being a true coach,
It's a question that I don't think it has a simple answer, because like you were saying, the player since you were a little kid,
Yeah.
and that's something that you can't make up for, you know, at the end of the day. So if the majority of the players have been playing, they are they're born to play this game in the US, and they've played their whole life. I think that definitely a lot of practice, more practice would have helped us execute better, but it would not take away the fact that these players have been running their butts off probably for the last few years, that their basic techniques, their fundamental techniques are ahead of ours. So I think it would take a couple of off seasons of really hard basic work, and then a huge camp after that, and then it might be closer at that point. But it's not just about the amount of practice, X's and O's of the systems, but it goes pretty hard back, and hopefully we are on the track to get there one day.
Questions?
I have a question for Titus head coach. What was the best part of Finnish national team, you think?
Oh, just the sportsmanship and the way they played hard. They never quit. They played right to the final gun or whistle, whatever you want to say, and that's what they played with great characters, and I think that's important. I thought both teams did. And I hope that tonight we can get to know their team a little bit more. I think our kids are real anxious to be around the Finland players. I mean, I just know they are, and want to socialize and talk to them and get to know them. And I think that's a big part of why we take these trips. This is the 5th trip that I've been over with a team. Now these are different kids because I go every 4 years because it takes 4 years for me to forget how hard it is to bring a team over here. And after 4 years, you try it again. And I want to say a couple of things. This is the best venue that we have played in. You know, we played in Germany. We played the Hamburg Blue Devils when they were a powerhouse in Europe. Then we played Italy, the Bergamo Lions, and they were very good. And then we played the Paris Flashes, which is one of the oldest organizations in Europe. And then we played the Vienna Vikings. But this is the nicest venue. The stadium is tremendous. It's a great experience. And the teams. I know this is a national team where the other teams we played were club teams, but as far as, like I mentioned before, the size and the athleticism and so forth, you know, they would go with any of the teams we played before.
To Coach Nish, we've already talked about matchups, skill-wise, scheme-wise. How did you feel the game was on a physical level? Did you feel that the team has a clear upper hand?
I think the first half was pretty equal. I mean, like I said, they do have some size and some strength, and you can tell that Finland players are concerned about their physical fitness and their strength and things like that, but I think we didn't wear them down. I could notice that a little bit starting the second half when we got momentum, plus we were wearing them down a little bit, and then the second half, I thought the third quarter we really wore them. And then we put our second unit in, and that's really hard because his kid's been out there the whole ball game, and here my second unit goes in, and they're fresh and ready to go, and they got off the ball pretty good, and we had some good success with that second group too.
Yes, for Team Finland MVP, Santtu, how was the game tempo like compared to the Finnish Maple League?
Game tempo.
Speed.
Well, as I said, they played good as a unit. There was 11 players. Everybody knew what they was doing and where if the player was how to block a player, and what you don't see in Finland in Maple League, that receivers block, and I think their receivers block well, and sometimes even me that way that I couldn't see that.
I got a question for Wesleyan, so Coach Ish and TJ. What might be the biggest things that you learned from this trip and from Team Finland? So is there anything you're going to take back home and you know learn from this experience? So what were the biggest facts?
As a coach, I think the big thing is we were able to evaluate our talent. Now we know our kids pretty well because, like I mentioned, we have a lot of kids coming back, but you still have to put the kids in the right places. Our quarterback today, Tyrell Bolden, he's our defensive corner. He will not play quarterback for us next year. Our quarterback is number 10 that you saw that was injured, and he's a 3-year starter, all conference. He's a very good quarterback. Unlike Tyrell, he's a thrower, not a runner. So it would have been a different ball game completely if Rob Galley would have been out there as Tyrell. We also had about 5 players injured. A captain just tore his knee up last week in a scrimmage game, ACL. I lost him for the whole season, which is really disappointing for him, and he's a great player for us. And then we had another all-conference linebacker hurt. So we're not quite healthy, but it gave a lot of our kids a chance to play at different positions and evaluate. And so going into our first game for our season, which starts the first Saturday in September, I have a much better idea of where our team is at and what we're going to do with our talent. We expect a challenge for our conference title next year, and we expect to be in the Division III playoffs. So, you know, we have very high expectations. So this game helped us immensely.
What about you, TJ?
Yeah, I mean, like Coach said, we've obviously been together for a little while, but we haven't played this unit. This was our first game. So, you know, we're going to go back and watch the film and really, we're going to learn because it is a little bit different over here. The way they play the game, everyone, they were saying, you know, that difference is something, you know, we can learn from too. I mean, they're going to learn from us, I hope, and we should take some things from them because it's a lot different. So, you know, I think it's a great opportunity just to be here and play over here.
All right, thank you so much.
Any other questions? That is it, then I'll thank you all.